Alrighty, so thank you everyone again for joining me for our Polaris ATV Experience webinar. This is for the 2025 ATV Experience. All right, again, if you have any questions, please just throw them in the chat. Make sure you send them to everyone and not just me, so everyone can read everyone else's questions and we can get everyone's questions answered all at once. If you do have any questions after this webinar, anything that is ATV program specific, you can go ahead and send to my email at lilia.sadam@scouting.org. If you have any questions about arrival or meals or anything that is not necessarily pertaining to the ATV specific program, you can send to our summit.program@scouting.org and they'll get those answers for you. Okay, just a little plug right now for our Garden Ground Outfitters. If you want custom cruise shirts, then go ahead and order them at our gardengroundoutfitters.com, or you can scan the QR code here. The deadline for these shirts for 2025 is April 6th. So that is coming up very soon, it's just a couple of weeks away. So if you want to check that out, go to this QR code or gardengroundoutfitters.com. Okay, this webinar is going to cover our planning guide, equipment and gear, our program design, and campsite overview. One of the requirements for the ATV trek is to have wilderness first aid and CPR. You must have one person with each of these. And so it can be two separate people, one person with CPR, one person with wilderness first aid, or the equivalent. There are a few things on this list. All of the ones listed are eligible to be a substitute for the wilderness first aid if you do have that certification instead. Okay, next requirement for the ATV program is to take the e-course prior to your arrival. This does take 2.5 hours approximately. You can find the link for it at this QR code or at atvsafety.org/atv-ecourse. And you will need to bring a copy of that certificate, either digital or printed, whichever one you prefer. Every single participant going on this trek, whether it be a youth or an adult, has to do this e-course prior to arrival. That part is very important. So if any one person does not come with that e-course completed prior to the start of your trek, then it will delay the entire trek. We cannot do the rider course in person without every single person taking this e-course. You do not have to do it in one sitting. You can do it incrementally, and it will automatically save your progress. Okay, so some of the summit provided gear is the ATV, of course, and Polaris is our sponsor for that. We will give you a helmet. If it does not have a visor on the helmet like the one pictured, then we will provide you with the ANSI Z87 goggles. We do also have tents and cots at each one of our campsites. Cooking gear, the camp kitchen, that's including all your pots, pans, cooking utensils, things of that sort. And then we will also provide your food and water. If you want to have any snacks in your day pack, you will have to pack those yourself. And we will go over dietary restrictions and what all of that entails later on in this webinar. All right, so the ATVs that we provide, the first one is the Polaris Phoenix 200. That is here pictured. Anyone on the trek that is 14 or older that weighs between 115 and 215 pounds can ride a 200. And those weight restrictions and age restrictions are not set by the summit. They are set by the manufacturer. We cannot deviate from those restrictions. So if you have a scout that is 15 years old and weighs 230 pounds, they are ineligible from the ATV trek. So that part is very important. We cannot deviate for any reason. I understand that it is not always a weight issue. Sometimes it's just a lot of muscle mass built up, and it's just a very heavy 15-year-old. Unfortunately, it does not matter your physical condition. It is purely based off of age and weight. The other option that we have is the Polaris Sportsman 450. In order to ride one of these, a participant must be at least 16 years old, and they must not fit on a 200. So being 16 does not guarantee someone a 450. You can be an adult and ride a 200 as long as you are under that 215-pound mark. It is based off of your body type and your age purely. So we will put you on a machine that fits you best so that you will have the best experience possible in a safe manner. Our general gear list. So personal sleep system, a sleep bag, a pad, make sure that you have something to be comfortable in when you're sleeping. And we will go over how all of this gear is moved for you. Your personal clothing, extra socks, of course, long pants, long sleeve shirts, recommend rain gear, footwear. You have to have over the ankle boots when you're riding, but we do recommend having camp shoes for when you do get to your campsite. Personal hygiene, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, that sort of thing. You will have access to showers at some points of the trek. Not every night, but at some points of the trek, you will have access to a shower. So make sure that you have things that you can use in the shower to make yourself feel nice and clean. A hydration pack, 3-liter H2O capacity minimum. So this is going to be for your day pack. We do recommend the bladder pack for that. It is the best way to be able to keep your helmet on and stay hydrated. A Nalgene just is very difficult to be drinking water with a full face helmet on. Your miscellaneous personal gear, such as sunscreen, bug spray, a camera, a camp chair. These are going to be things that you want to take on any other trek that you would go on. And our leader's guide is posted on our website, and you can read the full packing list in that leader's guide. We do ask that you do not exceed 20 pounds of personal gear per person. And that is because we are going to be transporting that gear for you. And so we have limited space, and we have staff members that have to be able to lift that gear and move it in a quick manner. If you do have any questions, don't forget to go ahead and throw them in the chat at any time. Please send them to everyone and not just me, so everyone can read those questions. All right, just some general rules of operation of an ATV. Never operate without a DOT helmet, ANSI Z87 eye protection, gloves, over the ankle boots, long pants, and a long sleeve shirt or jacket. This is just your general gear. Some people may require more than that. But that's going to be what we require according to our ATV standards through ASI. All right, so our support vehicle is going to transport your gear for you in a dry bag. We do provide those dry bags for you. They are 30 gallons. And so there's plenty of space in there for your gear, and they'll keep it nice and dry. And we will be moving it for you on a trailer, like kind of can see in the picture here, the trailer that we will have to transport your food and your gear for you to each of your campsites. And again, that 20 pounds worth of gear is per person. Please do not pack more than that. That really can cover all of your essentials, plus some just comfort items and just things to keep you in good spirits and happy on the trek. All right, so our dining hall facility, our trek food is nut-free now. And if you have any allergies, standard allergies, the ones that we cover are like peanut allergies, vegetarian, dairy-free, gluten-free. If you have an obscure allergy like red dye 40 or something like that, you will have to provide food for yourself. But if you have any standard allergies, such as the nut allergy or vegetarian, things like that, please go ahead and let us know in this dietary restrictions form, and we will be able to accommodate for standard allergies, such as peanut allergy. Again, if you do have a obscure allergy, such as red dye 40, go ahead and still fill out this form. But on the trek, when we are not eating in the dining hall, then we will not be able to provide food for that restriction. Alrighty, I see a couple of questions coming through. I will answer those questions once we get to the end here. And I will go ahead and finish going through a couple of these slides. The outline for the week. Day one is going to be your arrival, your shakedown. You're going to meet your ATV staff and get to know your campsite. You will be staying at the Polaris ATV Pavilion for the first 2 nights. And so you'll get to stay there and do your S course the next morning. So day 2 is the S course, like I just said, and that will be your in-person training followed by an afternoon of skills course riding trails. And that'll be your first time out in the woods and out on the machines, getting to know what your capabilities are. Day 3, we're just going to continue doing more trail riding, basic ATV maintenance course. So you're going to learn how to check the oil, check the tire pressure, things like that. Day 4, of course, more trail riding, and you're going to stop at a few spots to see some scenic areas, and you might even get to see some of our historical spots on site. Day 5, of course, more trail riding. I'm sure you guys will be real upset coming for the ATV course and having lots of trail riding. So time to clean up your machines is day 6. That'll be the first half of the day. You're going to ride back to our wash pad and you'll clean up the machines for, again, basic maintenance and learning how to take care of them. And then the afternoon is going to be your aqua day. So we will talk about that more on the next slide and what aqua day really entails. And then your evening is going to be Summit Center activities. So whatever we have to offer on your day 6, it's going to depend on what day you're here for your trek of what we have to offer. But there's going to be different Summit Center activities such as mountain biking and some rock climbing and just other activities. Day 7 is your departure day, and you'll be nice and worn out and ready to go home by that point. So you'll get to eat breakfast and pack up and head out. And every trek includes an Alexander's Eagle flight, which is formerly known as our Big Zip. It is our longest zip line on property. And it is not written in what day it is because it depends on which trek you're coming in on. We have 3 different treks each week, and each one falls on a different day throughout the trek. But you will get transported to this Eagles flight and get to ride on the zip line and get transported back to your ATVs and just continue on your trek as normal. So a little bit more in depth on our aqua day. You have 2 different options to choose from. Goodrich Lake is our first option, which is the canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards and water obstacle course. And you will have to have a BSA swim test to participate in the on-site water activities. Option 2 is our whitewater rafting. This is an additional upcharge of $105 per person. It's a rafting trip on the lower New River, and that's the 20 plus rapids ranging from class 4, 1 to 4. And sometimes more than that. We just can't guarantee more than that because we can't control the river. The trip culminates under the New River Gorge Bridge. So you're going to have a nice view of the New River Gorge and the bridge at the end of that trip. So that is your 2 options. If you would like to sign up for the whitewater rafting, you can contact our summit.programs@scouting.org, and they can help you add that to your reservation if you do not know how to do that. All right, so our Scout Connections. So if you have extra space in your trek and you would like to invite other scouts to join you, then you can go ahead and scan this QR code and make a posting on our Scout Connections page. And if you have a scout that would like to go but can't go with your troop, then you can also make a posting on there where their parent can do so and make sure that they can get paired up with another trek. Or if you have scouts that want to do a different program than what you're doing, this is the same way that you can do that. Go ahead and go to our Scout Connections page. You can see who's made postings and who has availability in their troop, or if you would like to do so, and add people to your troop, same place. All right, just another plug here for our custom crew shirts. Again, the deadline for ordering these is April 6th. That is a hard deadline, and that's just so we can guarantee that you get your crew shirts prior to your trek and making sure we get them on time. So April 6th is coming up soon. It's just in a couple of weeks. So if you do want those custom crew shirts, make sure you go to this QR code or gardengroundoutfitters.com. All right, so we have covered a lot in this webinar. So just some things to remember is to distribute the planning to all parents and participants. Anyone who is attending who would like this information, this will be posted on our YouTube. That link was sent to you in the same email that I sent this webinar link in. So you can go ahead and share that information with anyone else in your crew that would like it. Don't forget to get your CPR and wilderness first aid training completed prior to arrival. Make sure to have all of your health and medical record forms prepared. Schedule everyone's physical examinations prior to arrival. Now, the e-course is very important for the ATV trek. Make sure that everyone completes that e-course and has a copy of that certificate with them when they arrive. So you can either print them out or have screenshots. It does not matter what you prefer. We just have to see a copy of that e-course. Make a plan for physical preparation and get started now. So this is a very physically demanding trek. So people think that just because they are sitting down and watching or paying attention to their surroundings, that they are just sitting the whole time, but it is very physically demanding. So make sure that you do recognize that it is a lot of standing, a lot of moving your body weight with the machine, and a good way of getting physically prepared is going on hikes. If you have any ATV specific questions after this webinar, you can go ahead and email me at lilia.sadam@scouting.org. Any other questions like arrival, departure, your paperwork, waivers, water activities, whitewater, you can send those to our summit.program@scouting.org. And our next webinar is going to be on April 16th at 7 p.m. This is going to go over our roles of adult and youth staff and leadership positions. All right. Oh, sorry, I skipped a slide there. We do still have our seasonal staff opportunities open for 2025. We're looking for all program staff and support staff across the base. We do hire over 200 seasonal staff members, so we do have a very wide variety of different positions, and some are even in ATV. So if you have anyone over the age of 18 that wants to come and join our team, we offer room and board, and all of our training is provided as well. So if you have anyone that would be interested, there is the summitbsa.org/jobs is our webpage, or you can go to the QR code. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up this chat here and go over some of these questions. Do we need to bring all of our gear in a specific type of bag, backpack, or stuff sack? That's a great question, Damon. No, you do not have to bring it in any sort of bag in particular. We will provide you the 30-gallon dry bag. So anything that is easy for you to stuff into a 30-gallon dry bag would be my recommendation. Lots of people bring duffel bags, but a backpack works too. Just whatever is easier for you to move in and out of that dry bag. All right. Do you have electricity at campsites to accommodate a CPAP? That is a very common question. So our electricity is not available at every campsite. We do recommend bringing extra batteries and some way of having a solar charger or a wireless battery pack that you can charge your CPAP elsewhere. The 20 pounds of gear limit for on the trail only. Can we leave gear at base camp like our Class A uniform or change of clothes? Great question. So yes, the 20 pounds of gear limit is only for when you're out on the trail. You can leave things in your van or whatever transportation you use to get to the summit. If you are using some sort of shuttle system, you won't be going back to the same camp that you left out of. So we are always moving forward through the trek, and the last campsite is actually not the same as your first campsite. So if you do not come in your personal vehicle and don't have anywhere to leave things, then that 20 pounds of gear will be anything that you have with you. I hope that answers that question sufficiently. Wilderness first aid and CPR. Is it required for an adult or can a scout qualify? A scout can qualify. We just have to have one individual that has at least both of those things qualified. It doesn't have to be the same individual with wilderness first aid and CPR. You just have to have someone with each of those. On day 6, can you split into 2 groups to attend the lake and rafting as an option? Yes, you can split into separate groups. That is an option. We just ask that you have adults to cover YPT for both groups. If you cannot split with YPT covered, please just send me an email and we can figure out a way to accommodate that, especially if you don't have enough adults to stay on site for the on-site water activities. We can figure out a way to accommodate that with certain staffing. Do participants need BSA swim test for option 2 rafting? Sean, that is a great question. You do not need that swim test if you are not doing the on-site water activity. Okay, you do not have to test at the summit on Aqua Day. You can come with your swim test already completed. We actually prefer that. Do you need BSA certification for the whitewater rafting? No, you do not need a certification for the whitewater rafting. We have staff with those certifications to cover you. Arrival check-in address. So you are going to come to 2550 Jack First Drive in Glen Jean, West Virginia. All right, how many miles is the trek? We will ride approximately 50 miles for this trek. And some treks will do a little bit less, some will do a little bit more. It really just depends on how rough the terrain is based off of weather and a few varying factors, but it is approximately 50 miles of riding. Would we be able to use a hammock for sleeping while on the trek? Yeah, so you are more than welcome to bring a hammock. We actually have hammock spots at the first 2 campsites. We can't guarantee that you will have trees to hang them in after the first 2 campsites. So just be prepared to sleep on a cot in a tent if you don't have a spot to hang your hammock. Showers are day 4 and 6. Let's see here. Yes, so on night 4, you will be in a camp that has shower accessibility, and also night 6. Yes. Yes, those are correct. How many ATVs are allowed in each group? Specifically, will our group of 8 be paired up with other individuals from different groups/troops? So no, we're only allowed to have up to 12 ATVs, participant ATVs. Of course, we have 2 staff members with those 12 at all times. So if you are bringing a group of 8, you will still have your 2 staff members. If you would like to add individuals, you can go to that Scout Connections page and increase your number to the 12. But if you do not have more than 8 and you don't want to add more than that, then you do not have to. Would mosquito netting be necessary or helpful? That is completely up to you. We don't typically have that much of an issue with mosquitoes. I mean, of course, we do have them. This is West Virginia, so our temperatures are very variant. Humidity is variant, but the mosquitoes aren't out. They're not extremely bad. So that is completely up to you. We've never had anyone recommending mosquito netting from the participant side or from the staff side. We have any other questions? Can the attending adults be responsible for any meds for the scouts? Yes. So if anyone has an EpiPen, we do recommend that it goes in their individual day pack and not on a separate individual. But you can have the adults carry other medications that are daily medications if that is necessary. Alrighty. If that is all of the questions, we will go ahead and stop here. Thank you everyone for joining.